Thank you. Good morning. My name is Councillor Webb. I'm the Exec Member for Children, Young People and Education. It's Tuesday the 3rd of September and I've got a decision to make. On my right is Reece, who's our Democracy Officer, with other officers around the room. Please just introduce yourselves and your title even when you speak. And first item on the agenda is declarations of interests. I have no declaration of interest to declare. The second item on the agenda is the minutes. So I have the minutes of the meeting from the 23rd of May 2024, and this was related to the early years capital grant tender for Lowfield Green. I've read through those minutes and I'm happy to approve those. So I'm going to sign them. So, Reece has informed me we do not have any public participants today at item 3. Therefore, we can move on to the main item of business, local offer for care leavers. Neil, do you want to introduce yourself and the item?
Yep, so my name's Neil McVicker, Head of Innovation and Children's Champion. So we've had an offer in place for care leavers for quite a number of years. It follows a similar model to other areas. And in revising this approach to our new offer, we've obviously gone and engaged with children and young people about what they would like to see different, and also looked at what offers look like in other areas. A key piece of feedback that's come through from young people about smoothing out any particular cliff edges by way of support, but also trying to build more opportunity within the offer for care leavers around individualisation rather than a one-size-fits-all blanket offer. So what's presented to you today is the enhanced local offer, which reflects what young people have told us matters to them. We think it reflects well and stacks up well to equivalent local offers in other areas. So I'd welcome any sort of comments or reflections on it. But the local offer is there for hopefully your endorsement, that we can then start to implement that for our care leavers.
Thank you. As looking through this local offer, one thing that pointed out on the annex, the actual draft local offer, there was a typo, an error at page 13, where there was essentially some wording missing. But Neil, that's going to be looked into and completed.
Yeah, certainly we will address that following today.
Yeah, I think that's perfectly acceptable. On this item, I'm really pleased that this is something that we're taking a look at as an administration. One of our goals coming into power just over a year ago now was our commitment to those in the care system and our care leavers. And I'm really glad that we've taken an opportunity to look at what our local offer is, that we've engaged with young people extensively to review this offer, and I'm really pleased with the idea of moving towards a more individualised approach, because I think it'll reflect the young people's needs more than possibly the current offer does. As well as that, I think it's really worth highlighting the positivity around the extension of our bus pass up to age 25. That really reflects our ambitions to tackle climate change, and it's just common sense that helps young people get around. And I think when those two things meet, that's the lovely thing. It takes into account people's feedback, regular feedback on the need for support with mental health provision. So I think the mindfulness app is a really positive step to support with emotional well-being, and that's really positive. Another part of our manifesto was to support the most vulnerable and support in a cost of living crisis. And I think that that sliding scale for council tax exemption is a real positive. Previously, we offered 1 year council tax exemption. Now we're going to offer that plus a further 50% discount in the second year and a further 25% discount in the third year. And I think that is a real positive improvement, and it obviously avoids that cliff edge that we've talked about. Following on, in terms of digital inclusion, and again, support with cost of living, support with broadband costs for a year. I think that's a real positive and a reflection of a modern local offer that recognises the importance of that broadband offer. And then the individualised approach again in terms of changes to the way that we support young people in higher education, with annual contributions of a 2.5k support to accommodation, but also £2,000 bursary. And I think it's worth saying here and now to, you know, the millions of people who are listening, that universities themselves do an awful lot of work to support care leavers, and there's always more that they could do, but actually that should be part of that conversation. And I want to finish just by saying thank you to officers who've worked on this in the background, to pathway teams and social workers who are working with young people every day and supporting them through, you know, what is the biggest transition in anyone's life, really. That's sort of between 16 and 25 sort of age bracket. And of course, thank the young people themselves for that engagement that they've shown throughout this process. So I have two options. The first option would be to do nothing and stick with what we've got, and the second option would be to approve and seek this new local offer, and that is what I intend to do. So I'd like to approve this piece and thank everyone for their work on it. Yeah, with that, Reece. Yeah, good, excellent. The only other item on the agenda is urgent business. I've not been notified of any urgent business, so I will close the meeting. Thank you all very much.
Thank you.
Yeah. Sorted.